Our next guest is here to share her own story in the hope that she can help you on your own road to getting back to normal. With us today is Janet Berndt, the author of Finding Norm. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Great.
You're ready to share your story. You've put it into a book as well, Finding Norm. Tell us what inspired this book.
You know, Finding Norm for me started in November of 2014 when my husband of 28 years was out running with the dog, you know, picture perfect health, a cross-country coach runner, and he collapsed that day, and about a week later he passed away of a widowmaker heart attack. So, you know, your life is just built together for 28 years and you have this wonderful family, and then life just kind of, wow, what's normal anymore, right? So the inspiration behind it certainly is, how do you jump back into life? I was still young, had 3 kids and a career, and how do you just like get back in? And so the subtitle, Rediscovering Joy Through a Season of Loss, because that really is kind of what saved me, is I got to find a way to find joy again because a lot of joy had just left.
So it's not always easy in the grief to be able to put your thoughts and your feelings into words. How did that process start for you?
You know, I had a blog at the beginning, Caring Bridge, what a wonderful site. And it's such a great tool for families when you're in the hospital. And so kind of started that way. And just a lot of encouragement from family and friends to say, seems like you have something to say. And, you know, it happened for me, honestly. One day I was at the lake. It was a cloudy, rainy day, and I just started writing. And you remember Forrest Gump when he puts his tennis shoes on and he's going to run, and he runs and he runs? That's kind of what happened to my computer that day. I just started typing and typing and typing, and I wrote a book. And, of course, it took a year to edit and professionally get it done, but that's kind of how it started. It just happened.
Therapeutic for you?
Very much. Very healing for my family, for friends. And as I wrote it, you know, it's a memoir, but a lot of tips and advice from my lens. But what I'm really learning is that, you know, it doesn't have to be a husband. I've had people write to me about losing a pet, their health, divorce, change, loss. It all kind of mirrors the same type of emotion. And so in my case, it was a husband, but what I'm hearing is the story itself is very healing and helpful for others that just have had loss.
What are the top tips that you give people? Because you said I said therapeutic for you, but therapeutic for others, and helping people find their normal again. What are some of the best pieces of advice you can give people?
You know, there were several things. The choosing joy piece kind of comes out pretty loud and clear, because I kept telling myself, you have a choice today now to dig in deep and find the joy and try to find things today that you're grateful for. And I would start the morning by just journaling a couple ideas. What is good about today? Because there's a lot that I could write that wasn't so good. So just focusing on a few things that would push me forward in that joy mode is probably one of the bigger things. You know, the holidays at times can really accentuate grief. It's that missing person at the table or around the tree, or Thanksgiving. That was my husband's favorite, you know, eating. And so my best advice there was just plan ahead of that. You know, get ahead of, it's going to be a hard day. It's going to be a hard situation, but just thinking ahead and planning and maybe telling a few people, I mean, I'm anxious about this. I don't know how it's going to feel. And just knowing that people are going to hold you up and support you, knowing it's going to be a hard day, it's helpful.
You're right. There's a lot of emotion right now leading up to, you know, even thinking about having to celebrate the holiday without your loved one, the first holiday without a loved one. But I would imagine there's always that loss. It doesn't stop hurting just because you've got through the first holiday season.
Exactly. That hole is there. It's always there. You learn to fill it with other things. But again, getting yourself in the support system around you and planning for that is really a helpful thing to get through the holidays.
I think a lot of people can benefit from your advice and your book. So, and this is really pretty brand new. You just got it published this last fall.
Right.
This fall.
Right. September 30th, I launched it on my mom's birthday. And so what I've been really pleasantly surprised is I wrote it from my lens, you know, a widow, and kind of a young widow. But what I'm really pleasantly surprised is at how many men are buying the book, or people that have other types of loss. One of my favorite stories was, so David Richmond from the Bison read the book, and it was shortly after Landon had passed away. And he just shared with me how helpful that was for him to go into the season and helping his team. So again, you don't have to lose a spouse. Just the whole idea of how to know how to help people that are going through loss. And so there's some helpful tips with that.
I think a lot of people in the community are still dealing with the loss of Landon Solberg, who obviously was close with the Richmond family as well.
Yeah.
Where can people find this book?
You know, the best site is just go to my website, janiceteburnett.com, and there's just a click of the button and you can get right in there and pay for it right online. There's many boutiques that have picked it up, which have been very supportive, and I'm thankful for that. Amazon has the ebook, so some people like to read it on their Kindle. So a lot of different places, but my website's probably the easiest.
Okay, Jana, thank you so much for coming in, sharing your story. I will make sure we have that link up on our hot button at valleynewslive.com so people can find it, because I think you're really going to help a lot of people this holiday season.
Thank you.
Finding Norm. Thank you so much. We'll be right back here on North Dakota Today.